my Find Divine Collective. So today I want to do a little story time. I want to tell you guys about the time that God allowed me to see and saved me from my murder. Okay, so let's get into it. And as you all know, and if not, my name is Dominica Divinely, God's favorite light worker, the golden healer, the messenger, and your down-to-earth high priestess. So my Find Divine Collective, one thing God is going to do is have my back. Okay, let's go back. Today is June 2025. Let's go back let's start at September 2024 when I decided that I wanted to take on a job. We all know as chosen ones that we usually are not supposed to be in the work field. You know, it just doesn't work for us for numerous reasons, because of who we are, because of the people that we really can't be around, and just the energies. It's just so many different reasons why chosen ones just are not supposed to be in the working field. We're not meant to work 9 to 5s or work for other people. However, I knew that Christmas season was coming up, and I knew that my business is not really booming the way that it should be or the way that it could be, and that is for my own reasons, my own safety reasons, okay? However, I decided that I needed extra money, and I assumed that getting a job will be the way. I go back to September of 2024 because this is when I had agreed with the owner, because it was perfect for me. The store was actually in the process of being built, and it was to be ready in October, but it actually took November to be ready. So I talked to the owner of the store in September. I told him that I would love to, work in the store as a cashier for extra money, and he was with it. I was automatically hired, but I still had to take that time to wait for the store to be built before I can start. So, like I said, the store was literally basically across the street. It was diagonal from my house across the street. I could just walk across the street and I'll be there. So I would go in and I would check in and out on the people that was working on the place. I was like really involved, even though I wasn't doing anything but waiting. I was ready to work, okay? I was excited. So I would go across the street to Miss Ruby's Corner Market, is what it's called, to check up on my job. It was often I would, go in there. I would speak to the workers. I would speak to the owner if the owner was around, the managers or whatever, because by the time that it was getting closer for the date, October came, it was announced that, the time had been pushed back. It wasn't ready to be open, so we had to wait until November before the store was going to actually have its grand opening and I could start working. So let's say 2 or 3 weeks before the store had opened, I did my first interview with the application. Even though the job was already mine, they have to do the professional and the right thing and take the appropriate steps as any other business would, right? So that's what I did. I did my application, I did my little 2-second interview, and I was on my way. After that first interview in November of 2024, before Christmas, God had given me a dream. And in this dream, I was working behind the counter in this store, and someone with a black mask came in, pointed a gun in the forehead of my head, and shot me, okay? Murdered me, killed me, cold blood, homicide, period, okay? So that was my dream. I knew it meant something, but I really wanted to avoid it. So I'm just like, Lord, let's just pray it off. I know you got my back. I know you can avoid this. I know that we can stop this. I know that I could take the job and you will allow this to not happen. So let me just continue to pray that it doesn't happen. So, I'm just like, okay, we got this, God, we got this. I went ahead and I did the second interview. By the time the second interview came around, now I'm starting to get confirmations, and these visions are getting more intense. I'm having visions now. They're getting very frequent. The energy from it is getting very intense. I'm getting scared. And then my son, at the time, my 6-year-old son comes to me and he's like, Mom, I'm afraid something's going to happen to you. I think something's going to happen to you. I'm scared I'm going to grow up and you're not going to be around. And he said that a few different times within the weeks that were going on. While I am still having these visions and this energy telling me that if I take this job, I am going to get murdered. So, y'all, I am a hot mess at this time. When I say I am a mess, I am a mess. My emotions, my thoughts is everywhere. I'm like, I can't take this job, but how do I go tell these people while at the same time still being on the fence of still wanting to be at the job. Yes, you may say you're stupid, you're crazy for still wanting to take the job, but I still believe that I wanted to take this job. So another confirmation comes in, and it was a inbox Facebook message from somebody I know, but I had lost connection with many years ago. And you know, he's spiritual. I didn't even know he was as spiritual as I am, or you know, I didn't know that, you know, I really don't know the extent of his powers or his gifts or who he is, but all I know is that he came into my inbox, baby. I'm gonna show you the messages. He came into my inbox to warn me that my life was in danger as well. Look at this. Yes, y'all see that? So this was in the middle of this time. I told him that this was just confirmation of what God has already been telling me. So that was double confirmation. My child and this person that has no idea what's going on, and then God telling me, and these emotions, the intensity, me fearing going to work already. I'm already anticipating my murder. I'm already scared to go to work if I take this job, because now not only did the confirmations come, the visions are getting more intense and more frequent, and I know for sure now that I cannot take this job. Ain't no praying through it, ain't no trying to get rid of what could happen. God said do not take this job, and now that I see that God is not playing and is not going to remove what could happen to me if I took this job, I am now solid on not taking the job. So I troll up my little bed over there to tell them hot mess, looking a mess, feeling a mess, just, oh my God. I went there and I told these people that I could not take this job. I even told them why, you know, they understood. I didn't take the job. And when I say that God promised that he will take care of me if I did not take that job, baby, I have not wanted for anything. And there is a difference, because God has always taken care of me without an outside job. And I have not wanted or needed for anything, period. Okay? God and I know that when God said, I will take care of you if you do not take that job, God will take care of me in higher ways. God will take care of me in the ways that I needed, because God knew I needed more at the time. That was the whole point of me wanting to take the job, okay? I've blown through thousands on top of thousands of dollars. Don't know where it's come from. I work my business. I get, you know, side money from that. I'm now, you know, I have bought a few different cars and sold a few different cars. I don't know how I am getting the money that comes in. I do know, but a lot of times I don't know, if you know what I mean. It's like, how am I really okay like this? How am I really getting this much money and not really having to do as much as what anybody else would have to do? I've been able to travel halfway across the world, and I have not wanted for anything. I'm a shopaholic. I get what I want. God really does take care of his people, okay? Obedience is the thing. My Fine Divine Collective, God warned me about my murderer, and God saved me from my murder, okay? Listen to that spirit. Listen to God. Listen, when you have these premonitions, when you have these little voices and these visions, when you have these signs and these synchronicities, they are not for nothing. Make sure you all are taking heed to what God is telling you, because it could save your life. And I am just so grateful, so happy, and so loving towards the great divine, the God Almighty, my ancestors, my spirit team, who always gets me through and save me from all of destruction, even if it's my own destruction, okay? Because I'm human too. I have my fleshly ways, and my supernatural abilities and all of the things that work for me is not my doing, okay? So my appreciation for the love of my life, my God and my ancestors, and the spirit team that works for me is just out of this world. I do not mind being alone, because I know when I am alone that I am okay. I don't have to worry about the wrong people in my space, my guardian angels. My Fine Divine Collective, please hear me when I say that you are truly someone special, if you are in the hands of the God Almighty, if you are in the hands of the God who is so proud of you, if you are one of God's favorite light workers like I am, you are truly divine. The protection is so real that your guardian angels, your divine source, deserves all the grace, all the praises, all the worship, and all of the appreciation. Dance, scream, shout, scream thank you. Whatever you got to do to show your ancestors and your spirit guides and your God the thanks for getting you through, saving your life multiple times, saving you from all kinds of things. Make sure that you are definitely showing appreciation to your guides, okay? Because without them, you wouldn't be here. And that part is just for confirmational purposes, because y'all know